I tried one night, once every week, to go with a guy to get a bit of money, because my parents was like, I lost my father when I was 15. I was on the reformatory, and then I came out and I never went back again. So I stayed with my mother till I was 17, but it was hard because we were 11 kids, and she couldn't care for all of us. And I thought it was wrong of me to still bugger like my mother staying, and she had to look after me.
Tell me how long you've been on the streets.
I'm 7 months on the streets.
7 months?
Yes.
And how old were you when you first went on the street?
I was 12.
I was raped first, so I told myself I'm going on the street to find some money to give myself a living in my mom.
And
So-
how old were you when this happened?
70.
I was 12 years old when I had sex with a man.
And how did that happen?
Somebody raped me.
And did you tell the police?
Yes. But the police do nothing to him.
And how old were you when you first went on the street?
14,
And why did you decide to go on the street?
because I don't want to work.
I was 16 years old. I found a boyfriend, and it's a mistake, a baby. My mother, she lost me when I was a baby of 3 months, and I stayed by my grandmother for the whole time. My grandmother was ill, and I can't stay with her anymore, and her sister took her. Just go and stay there by her sister. And the sister's place was too full, and I can't stay there, and I think, okay, going to leave the baby by her, and then I come and work in Cape+Town. Look for a job, and I found a job. I stay in a bungalow here in Cape+Town, in the Kuils River, and I work for a factory, home joinery. So it was for 3 years I worked there. After the 3 years, I see the money is not enough for me, because I must pay this lady also, and I must send for my mother money, and for me also. So I saw some friends go out during the night, and when they come back, I see you've got a lot of money. And I asked them, and they told me about it. And after 3-4 months, I go with him, see anything what's going on in Kuils River. Then I go to Biavel, do business there, and he take me with him. So everything, and then start put me in a car.
They ask business, I say 100, but they prepared to leave my money behind. And there were 2 guys. The one guy was with the other friend of mine, and the one with me. So she ran, so they pulled me to the back. So they catch me, so they pulled a gun on me and hit me.
How did you know to go on the street?
I look by my friends and see they sex on the street, and I go with them.
And I was scared. I asked the lady, she must come with me. And she said, okay, everything is going to be okay. I mustn't be scared. And come on the parking. The man asked me for a screw. And I asked her, must I give it for him, or what must I do? Because I don't know what's going on. She told me, no, I must give it for him, and this man is going to pay me. And that time, a screw in Kuils River in Biavel was 30 rand. And you must know, 30 rand is not a lot of money. And I take the 30 rand and I give him the screw. But it was not so good for me, because I know this man is not my boyfriend, and I don't know this man. So they don't touch me. I give it for him, but
Because you need the money.
there's no feeling. I know I need the money. And I told her the story, and she told me, no, You are the first, you are a new one in the business, but everything is going to be okay for you.
It's a lot of the girls that get into it usually don't have any family support, social support systems are disintegrated. They have no alternative work options. There's multifaceted and reasons and factors that support women to turn to this industry to survive, to get the income.
Nothing happened when I got the first time.
What did you do with him?
I do sex with him and blows up.
It was unusual, things that I never did before, but my friends talked me into it, you know, they taught me a bit how to talk to the guy, tell him what I want. And then that's how and I've tried to move with girls that were more experienced in this, to be in the same car and listen to what they talk to the guy. That's how I learned, and that's how I catched on, you know, how to talk to a man.
I've heard lots of stories of the prostitutes sharing that the men that do come and do business with them, that they usually also talk about wanting to be nurtured in a sense of having a bit of intimacy and a bit of warmth that they do not get at their homes, because a lot of these sex buyers are usually family persons, people with their own families, and not understanding their sexuality and the needs that they've got from their sexuality, and wanting sex in a specific way and not getting that at home.
Some guys ask me for a blowjob, screw. I want to suck my pussy and
69.
handjob and
69.
yeah, I know sex, you see.
He asked me to lay on the bed without my clothes, so I did it. And he lay next to me and he told me I must take a vibrator and fuck him first, and after that, and he want me to use cocaine and so on a paper, plastic. Then he took the light and lighted. So I tell him, no, I don't do that, because that is money you waste. So he tell me, now fuck me with this vibrator, and after that I'll fuck you with the vibrator, and then you can go home.
Like last night, I found a guy who want to suck me, you see, and I told him, okay, you can suck me, and he pay me, you see.
And the clients are usually married men between the ages of 30 and 50. I don't know, I think there are different reasons why clients make use of sex workers. Often clients feel that they're sexually inhibited, that there's certain things that they feel that they can't do with other women, and that's why they go to sex workers. Sometimes there are clients who have some form of disability who feel inhibited because of that and would then feel more comfortable with the sex worker. And sometimes it's generally not feeling sexually fulfilled in a marriage.
Some of them say that their wives don't, and some of them tell us their girlfriends, they don't give them blowjobs. And they say, I wish my wife can give me. Maybe he's shy of asking his wife to do something like that. Or maybe she never tried to do it. Or maybe some of them ask them to do it and they don't like to do things like it. But they tell me, not all the guys, but some of them, very few, they tell me, I wish my wife can give me a blowjob like this.
The message sent through in society is that a man is a man, and then after a certain point, the man is not in control of the sex organ, but the sex organ is in control of the man. So there's a lot of power given to the sex organ in male sexuality.
And if men stop, what do they want you to do normally?
Screw, blowjob, or handjob.
And how much do you charge them?
100.
What do you enjoy doing most when you're with a man?
Only blowjob. in a little bit of sex.
Blowjobs are quick jobs, you know. You don't enjoy blowjobs, but I think maybe sex can turn you on. But most of the guys want blowjobs because it's less than what we charge for sex.
In the ass and so on.
Most guys, he went for a screw, you see. And he told me I've got his own parking. Come on his parking place. He changed his mind. And then he said, no, I don't want to for a screw, I want to for an anal sex, you see. And you must know it is difficult for you. Now you must also know we can leave the whole business rather. And that man, he don't want it like that. Then you must run away.
Yeah. There was a guy, but I don't see him again. He told me if he can break me in my ass and he will give me 200 rand, so I tell him no. I should rather refuse the money.
Some ask you straight for anal sex, but I don't think there's any of us down here because I know for a fact that colored girls, they don't, I'm not referring to races now, but I know a few white girls in Sea Point. They do because guys have discussed with white friends of mine, white girlfriends of mine, and they, you know, they charge like high money for this stuff, for anal sex. And yeah, I know the guys come here and they ask these girls, they don't go for it. Either you get conned, some girls get into the car and then they take the money, but then they just make a duck. They run away with his money, but anal sex is not what we like to do.
But I won't let the guy broke in my ass. So he said then he's gonna look him for another girl. So I told him, go and look for another girl. So we went down and get the girl and he bring the girl, but I knew the girl. 14 years old girl, and she went off with him, and when he's finished with her, she come to me and tell me, Samantha, did that guy ask you to fuck you in your ass? And I told her yes. So she said, he asked me also, so I said yes, and he broke me in. How much did he ask you? How much he charged you? 200 rand? So I told me, now you got only a 50 rand on him.
Is it ever sore if you have sex with him?
Yes, he push hard, the man.
I don't know, these women think maybe by selling their bodies that everything will be okay and that they make a lot of money out of it. But they do get paid a high percent, but it's not right.
In blaming them and putting the blame on them for everything, what you do is you are opening up the ability or the potential to be blind for the sex buyers, and the sex buyers are more in society, are more the people. So it's like the attitude helps society to cope with its own hypocrisy in a sense. They rather blame the one that's visible and not need to deal with the other one that they are blind now because this one is the only one blamed for the whole industry.
Do you have many regular customers?
Yes, I have guys who like me, not just because I'm not for just looks, because maybe I think I'm polite and I don't steal, and he feels comfortable in my company and he can trust me, and maybe he thinks some of them are just trying to help out a few girls.
So we had sex, and when he finished, he bring me back, but he give me 150 for that because it's a far stretch from here. So tell me I want to meet me again, so I tell him no, man, I don't want to see you again.
And do you enjoy it?
No, I don't like it. For me, I'm too scared.
But you do it anyway?
Yes.
These small girls on the street, most of them is small. Then I told them, why are you standing on the street doing the things I do? Now then they tell me, don't tell me what I must do. I'm also standing on the street, I'm doing the things you do. And I also earn my money, that the money you earn. And listen here, then they told me, don't fucking look at me, man. It's my pussy, it's my mouth, and so on.
How old is the youngest girl you've ever met on the street?
9.
I've known about what happened is that there was this lady with her husband, right? And the husband left her. Now the woman, she didn't have any other income. So the only way that the children could actually contribute to the house was to resort to prostitution.
Children, like the 12-year-olds, walk away from home because of their social structures and the disintegration, whatever, and come to town or to the city to make a new living, and then they get involved. And because of the shortage in people on duty and people and energy to sort of look into this, they just come on the street and then they say that they are 18, and that's that.
If you get into a car with a man, then what happens?
I get into the car and the man tells me, come to my home and you can take a shower. I'm gonna make you something to eat. And afterwards, when you are finished, I'm gonna bring you back, safely back, and then I pay you. When we come into his home, I take a shower, I take all my clothes off, and I go to his room and lie on the bed, and I first play with him, and then I suck him, and then I screw with him. And when we are finished, and then he tells me I must take my clothes and put it on, and he take me back.
That part of the industry is usually run by grown-ups from their houses. We've heard rumors, and because of the gangs' involvement in stuff like this, of 2 houses, even in Cape Town area, in Salt River, of 2 houses that do keep children as prostitutes, as sex slaves in a sense.
You know other girls on the street that are also your age?
Yeah.
Are there lots of girls on the street that are your age?
In Seapoint.
We interviewed a 12 and 14-year-old prostitute on this same stretch. What is your approach in terms of the child prostitution situation?
Absolutely unacceptable. I think this is a provincial responsibility, not a local council responsibility, and I think social welfare and whatever other authorities must be looking into this problem. It cannot continue.
Because we've noticed that there's a large group of very scantily clad girls who stand quite openly along a certain section, apparently under the control of a drug lord, and we see police vans patrolling the area, but nothing is done. Has City Council made any sort of provision for action to be taken against them?
Again, it's not a council responsibility. I believe it's social welfare, province responsibility, police responsibility. We cannot look past the situation. As a responsible civic leader, I will be making the necessary approaches to the authorities. We cannot leave it, but I personally believe that that area needs special attention as far as this is concerned.
Have you ever had any trouble with the police?
Only one time with the armed response. The family with the other man till we driving to Greenpoint, and they follow us. We was busy to do business and they come here, there and there. You see me for torch in English?
They shone a torch.
Yes, and they sound the torch in our face. And they ask, and they say, this is a child. Now, we're gonna, hoe sê mens, vir jou opsluit, die man.
Arrest, yes.
Arrested you. And the girl must go. And the man pay me finish. And the man must pay them 500 rand, and they leave the man, and they tell the man must go.
A few weeks ago. Her name is also Samantha, but we call each other Menta. So I told her, you can give the guy a blowjob. Well, because you don't have to fuck for the money. He will pay you for a blowjob and he will pay me for sex. Because he's small, I don't want her to have sex with a guy. And he's so big, and I can rather feel the pain, but not she. She's small, and he can break her whole body.
The child prostitution is still very, society is still very negative against it and are willing to stand up and do things if they find that the 8-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, the 12-year-olds are part of this. And because of that, the industry, that part of the industry is very underground.
The strip of problem is from Greenpoint, Glengarriff Road to Boundary Road. I firmly believe there should be a red light district in the centre of Cape Town, somewhere around must be found, and it should be illegal to stand around the street soliciting.
There was an option in Greenpoint to start a rehabilitation centre for street people, and also then as part of that group also have a rehabilitation centre, drop-in centre, where sex sellers can be, services can be rendered to support them to with health, with psychological services, with ministry, pastoral services to support them to get out of it.
It's not fair on people spending nearly millions of rand on accommodation in that area in this strip, and having that soliciting taking place in front of their doorways day in and night.
If there were no clients, there would be no sex workers. And often the people who make use of the services of sex workers are amongst the loudest voices against the sex industry.
It was such a big issue that they didn't want that to happen, and they voted it out. So at this point in time, it's now only going to be a creche. So what I have found, and that's not, it's more of a hunch and an experience of something like that in the development of that and the resistance, is that a lot of house owners, like in Greenpoint, they are against this working, but they don't want buildings to be rendered in the area to deal with it. What they would want is they want the people to be taken away from the area and to be the rehabilitation centre, something like that, to be somewhere else.
There's about, on a 1.5 kilometre strip of road between Glengarriff Road and Boundary Road, there must be an average of about 40 to 50 prostitutes soliciting every evening. So this is unacceptable to the area. I think the Greenpoint people will tell you. They phone me daily, and also the local other councillor, Councillor Schroeder, and we are addressing the problem with all the ratepayers associated.
That's the dualism in this. It doesn't make sense, because in a sense the people are there already. It's day to day, visibly there. But when the services are rendered, they don't want it to be from a building in the area. They would prefer the services to be rendered and the rehabilitation to happen somewhere else. It's a way that society is run that makes the potential for the sex industry to run, that is partly responsible for that. And also that it's not only the sex seller that's responsible, but the sex buyer has got the same blame if there is people to blame.
There's a lot of other solutions. They can go to social organizations for help, for assistance if they have a situation where they either divorced or penniless or any It doesn't mean that they can sell their bodies on the street. I don't agree with it, and I mean, it's not ethical at all.
There is not that much jobs around, and that is why they resort to such crime. But some people, well, they think, well, oh, well, that's big money in prostitution, and in an office job is not that much money. Well, I prefer prostitution.
So you don't think that the unemployment problem is...
That shouldn't be the cause of prostitution in any case.
I think the general reason is unemployment. A lot of single parents who are deserted by their husband or the partner, they need to take care of the children. They don't have formal income, they don't have a job, they don't have formal education. And this is a job where you can start immediately and earn money. They start earning money the same night.
There are organizations, there are many social structures that they can approach and ask for minimum assistance, at least minimum assistance, or at least a casual job a day would also help them survive, whatever.
I think also that's where a lot of intervention programs have gone wrong, where they feel that they must just rehabilitate these women and then they'll leave, or teach them alternative skills and then they'll leave. And I don't think that is true at all. I think in order to have a successful intervention program, you have to understand why people stay. A lot of people stay because it is quite well paid, they make a lot of money, because it is quick cash in hand money, because they feel that they are being financially independent, which they wouldn't be otherwise, that they can work whenever they want to. A lot of the women tell me that they feel that this job enables them to spend more time with their children, which they couldn't do otherwise if they were full-time employment.
I'm 34 years old, and I don't have a reference. I don't have any, what do you call it, like, what do you call?
You don't...
Education, like, you know, papers that would like say that I've, you know, so anyway, it's difficult. I'm thinking of the words now. But anyway, I don't have any certificate, that exactly qualifications to go and find a job. And I never, because I've only worked for 3 months, who's going to accept me, you know?
What are you going to do as a job one day?
I'm looking for a job. When I find a job, I'm gonna leave these things on the road.
Do you think you will find a job?
Because I got the idea, I'm gonna find a job, yes.
Have you tried to get a job?
Yeah, but I had a job in Napini. I was working for 8 months. After that, that place moved to Montague. So I can't travel from here to Montague, so I leave the job off and do this thing.
There's so many small things that you can do to earn a bit of money than to go and sell a body.
Yeah, I think that also the drug problem that plays a role. Many of the girls in the streets are drug addicts.
Yeah.
And I think this is why they need all this money, you see.
Well, then we must see to the drug problem from the root of see where the root of the cause is, and then and solve the problem from that.
What is the situation? Do girls on the streets drink or take drugs at all?
What's going on now? Lately are more drugs than girls that drinks. Before it was the girls only drank or maybe smoke dacha or mandrax, but lately it's more cocaine things going on, like for the past 2-3 years.
What's tragic about the low-income group, sex sellers, is that they tend to be very naive about money, financial planning, of financial future planning, of using the money that they do make for their own benefit and for their future. And they can make up to 1,000, 2,000 a day. As I've heard, and I know that some of them do make that kind of money.
most of the girls are all working for themselves. But there is a few girls who are working for pimps. Maybe it's not a pimp, it's a boyfriend. Maybe he likes her to do this because then they get more money for drugs, because the most pimps and girlfriends that I know on the street, they use drugs, you know.
What usually happens is that in the subculture, that money usually goes to the pimp, usually goes to the boyfriend, usually goes to having a good time with the family members. Like if I've made a lot, then I go back to the house, and then I stick everybody for a few mandrake pills or whatever they do, or have a party, or buy clothes. They're very extravagant then with their money.
But it becomes like a vicious circle because they make money and then they have to take drugs to carry on doing what they're doing, and then they start taking more drugs, so they have to keep on doing that to make more money to keep up their habits, and yeah.
We've had reports of clients, well, probably the most general one is of a client picking up the woman and then driving off with her and taking her far away, and then leaves her behind, and then she needs to walk back, and this is sometimes 2, 3 in the morning where she has to walk back, some instances as far as Bloberg Strand, and have to walk back to Wynberg at 2 or 3 in the morning. That is the most general complaint that we get. Other one of clients refusing to pay. That's why the women usually insist on taking the money beforehand and to leave the money behind, because clients do often do that, and they know that the sex workers can't do anything to get their money back. Then some reports of physical violence, rape. I think that generally people say, well, sex workers can't be raped. Sex workers can be raped. If it's against their will, it is rape, and that happens quite often.
But have you ever had guys like hit you or attack you?
Yeah. But I don't know, that's a Chara guy. He looks like a Moor, and other side he looked like a Chara. But he took me off to Camps Bay, and he told me, while we're driving, you must take off your clothes and play with yourself, and suck me so long. But the time when he come there, then he take the seat down, put the seat down, and get on top of me, pull my clothes off, and he hit me with the head first on my nose, and take the iron and hit me on my shoulder.
The worst thing that ever happened to me in my whole life was 2 years ago.
And he take out this gun and this cow. Take the highway and he drive with me. I don't know where was it. Maitland to Kudu to where was it, but it was far. And they go and park there. And the driver come sit in the back, and this other man is sitting in front of me holding his gun. And the driver is coming and he's also got a gun. And he told me I must strip. And I stripped me, everything, and this one said, okay, he's going to do first business with me.
A guy, I took him to this church behind in Woodstock, and we parked there, and it was the worst. The guy, we parked there, he was asking me for a quiet place, took him there. He was dressed in a uniform like a policeman, but there was other badges on his shoulders. And he said to me, okay. I was asking where's the money, and he said to me, no, you're not getting any money, you're going to give it to me for free.
Police demanding protection money by the woman, the police asking for sexual favors without paying for it, beating women up, the same that clients do by dumping the woman, picking them up, driving off and leaving them there, that they have to walk back. Those complaints were very, very common.
White guy, and he throttled me, he choked me, but I had struggled.
It's people I don't like, black guys. 4 of them took me into a bush, ripped me in the bush, hit me with I don't know what the things is in the like pallets and so on. After that, I'll go to the police station, report them. So the cops come to me, ask me, do I know how the people look like? So I tell them I only know the guy with a scarf in the face, got a red check shirt. So it asked me what way did they go? So I tell them go the way to Cape Town. So they went down, let me stay on the place with 2 cops. So they bring the guys up and ask me if this is the guy. So I said yes.
And there's some Indie, and they've got a beer bottle, a lion bottle, and that man, he told me, okay, now you must turn around, you want to put this empty bottle in your ass.
Yeah.
And I asked him nicely, please don't do these things to me, why are you doing these things to me?
And I just got hold of the door and I opened the door. Then he grabbed me by my hair. Because I was on the passenger side, he couldn't, he lost control of my hair. And I just tried to get in the back of the door on the outside so that he couldn't get me back into the car. And then I struggled, he lost my, and then he let go of my hair. Then he got out and he came around and he kicked my wind out twice and told me to get back in the car. And then I didn't realize he had a gun. But I just picked up a brick as I was trying to vomit, and I picked a brick and I threw it at him, straight at him. Then he went down and he was struggling, he was falling, about to fall. And then I ran, but slowly because I was sore. And then he just got hold of the gun and pointed at me, and I was mad, shouting in this dark place up here. Gee, who can hear you shout?
I told the police about these things he want to do with me, all these bad things he want to do with me, and the police, he told me I must stay in the taxi. I mustn't come with him. I must stay in the taxi, you see. And I asked the police, why is it, you see? Because he must help me. Why must he do the things? And I go out, I stand outside of the taxi, I haven't got clothes or nothing. And the police go, you see, he don't want to help me. Now I must run with my clothes in my hands, you see, until in the main road. And that guys, he come and he drive, you see, and he want to put me in his van, and I run there. I don't know, it's in Goodwood or in Maitland, you see.
So they asked me, you want to make a case? I said, yes, I want to make a case because I'm bleeding. So we went off to the police station, I make a case. They said, I can't drop the case, otherwise they will come out and do the same thing to me. So I tell them, no, I won't. But afterwards I go home to Mitchell's Plain and drop the case. And about last month I come back here and I'm still standing on the street, but I didn't see the people.
And then a security guard came past and he checked me screaming and just gave me a lift from there. But it was after 5 minutes the guy could have got a hold of me. That was the worst. Gee, it was terrible. I've never been beaten up on the street.
And if you have problems, do you ever go and report it to the police?
I did, and the registration was false. And they couldn't trace the guy, so I went to the police, but they couldn't find him. They checked on the computer. They said no, they don't have that registration on there. And then I just thought, okay, but I saw the guy, I see this guy often, and I would really like to tell the police. I see him often, but he's got changes, he changes his hair, I think something about his hair. Sometimes he makes it in a Tony, sometimes he's got a beard. I know this guy, really. I looked at him, I had a good look at him, I spoke to him. He drove past me before he picked me up. a few times, so I know what he looks like, and I know him. But and I warn a few girls, if they do, you know, the girls that is close to where I'm standing, I tell them not to. We always do that to each other. When we see a guy that they had a bad experience with, they're like just trying to warn each other, you know, not to get into that car.
You must be careful for strangers, and when you see a guy don't look nice for you, then and you can't get the feeling that you can go with that guy, and then drop it, don't go with the guy. That's why I don't go with any guy.
Some of the husbands and boyfriends know, some don't. A lot of the husbands and boyfriends are not aware that their wives or partners are working. But you do often get husbands or boyfriends who support the woman and go to work with the woman and acts almost as a security guard. I think they're often confused as being pimps. They're often called pimps, but it's not the same pimping situation that we find overseas, of the stereotypical American pimp who abuses and forces the woman to work. Most of the relationships between pimps or husbands or boyfriends here and the sex worker is quite a supportive one, where the woman in fact employs the man to look after her.
And what about your parents? Do they know what you do? You will never tell your mother. So what does she think you do?
I will never tell them.
What do they think you do?
No. They think maybe I'm going to dances or sleeping by my friends.
And they don't wonder where the money comes from?
No, I tell them in the morning. Maybe I do a job by some people and I earn the money, so I gave it to her.
No, it's either turning a blind eye or knowing exactly what she's doing, but because of the benefits and getting the money. That's just how it is.
And she never asked you if you did anything on the street?
No. And she still thinks I'm a virgin. She said I'm her baby. Only her baby, not other people's baby, but her baby. And you can't tell me things that's wrong in the face of her. Then you will hear her voice. That's my bloody baby. I'm 18 years old, but she said I'm still a baby. Most of the people want sex and so on without condoms and so, but if you come to the parking place, they want you to go and they ask you you'd use condoms, and when you say yes, then they tell you that they can't use condoms because otherwise they don't feel what they're doing, and if you don't go without a condom, then they will trap you, and then you have to walk your own way. But what can you do?
So you go without condoms then?
Only once. But the next day I go to the clinic here by us in Chapel Street. Ask them if there's nothing wrong with me because I went with a guy without a condom, and I don't know if he got any kind of diseases on him, and so they said nothing is wrong with you.
And what about AIDS? Do you know about AIDS?
Yeah, I know about AIDS.
But that won't show straight away.
Yeah, I think the state is working towards legalization of prostitution, and that's mainly sort of motivated for the for licensing it, more controlling it, by able to tax the money and be able to sort of contain the spread of AIDS.
Some people, when you go with them, when they told you, when you got in the car, you got condoms, when you say yes, when you got by the parking place, then they said no, do it without a condom because I already leave the money behind and so on. So then you have to struggle with him to do it with a condom. But if they tell me No, Samantha, do it with a condom. Without a condom, then I strayed and I said, no. You pay me for the condom. You didn't pay me for sucking you.
And it's a job just like I have, just like you have. We all sell something and they just happen to sell their bodies. I think it should be made legal.
At the moment, there's quite a lot of debate around whether sex work should be decriminalised or not. And it's interesting to watch how the society is responding to this, almost in a way as if there's never ever been sex work before, and all of a sudden, if it is decriminalised, we'll have masses of women or a whole sex industry starting. I think that people need to accept that whether they like sex work or not, whether they condone or condemn it, that sex work is here to stay.
There were some guys who like promised me they will pay me and then they don't. Then I end up with nothing in the morning. And then I feel bad because I've been cheated. But then I think, okay, tomorrow is another day. I didn't get so much trouble, you know. They were nice to me. And because I also tried to be nice. And some wanted sex, some wanted me just to be in their company because they needed just a young girl to be there.
There are things we can do. I'm convinced about that. Even if it's long term, but we don't need to just throw in the towel and say, oh, these people are a lot of scum, perverse people, they just don't want to hear, because that's not the whole truth.
I'm old enough to do things that anybody can do.
How come? It's because they are understanding their sexuality to be only, in a sense, something that they can split up because they are dealing with their womb, either with abortions that you find there, or being on the pill, or using condoms. So in a sense, they are also detached from their sexuality, their woman bodyliness, and it makes it easy for them to use their body because their body is just like, I'm using this pen, it's a way to get money, and they are not seeing it as that your whole body is part of your sexuality. That is your sexuality. Your bodyliness is your sexuality. Sex is a way to express it.
Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's nice. I went to the nightclubs. I enjoy sometimes nightlife because I experience a lot of things that other people, they don't know of.
So, are you happy?
Not so much.